Good day, mate. Today I'm going to discuss a game that I just played against lynsonchess, and finally I'm back to 1600 rating after a lot of bloodbath. Now let's just have a look at this game. I was black and lynsonchess was white. It's an interesting game because I'm almost lost here, but I managed to sort of survive back. For the statistic or for the statistic nerds, you can have a look here that there are a lot of blunders that we both made, mistakes as well, and moreover inaccuracies that I made. But at the end of the day, it's about uh, a counter in a counterattack game where you both are attacking, which happened in this game. It is very critical to make a good move and do not make any blunder, I suppose. Otherwise, your opponent will punish you with a checkmate. So let's just have a look here. Uh, lynsonchess started with d4, and I opened with f5, which is categorized as Dutch defense. None of us, I believe, are Dutch, but it's just the way we play. So e3 is done here afterwards, and then knight goes to f6, preparing for the bird, or the king's bird or whatever. Whether the king has a bird or something like that. No, I don't know what the name means, but um, here you go. Bishop goes to d3 and then e6 here, trying to defend. f4. It's weakening the king side, and it's very inaccurate according to the engine stockfish 8, but I'm not really sure whether it's actually accurate or not. I still have to move my knight before I can make a check, this sort of thing, so it's still a long way. Anyway, bishop goes to e7, preparing to do the castling. Knight goes to f3, and I did castle here. And then from there, white also castle. c3 is done, then c5, and knight goes from b to d2, and here I just took the pawn at d4 because I want to rip the center of the game, center of the board, and then pawn at c takes d4 as well. I move b3 here, and sorry, knight goes to c6 and then b3. I suppose black's idea is to fianchetto the bishop, and it's considered a mistake because maybe it's not a good defense later on. e6, trying to fianchetto as well, and then castle. And then rook goes to b7. Sorry, bishop goes to b7 here, trying to fianchetto the bishop. And knight goes to e5 there, challenging the knight. And of course, I should have moved my knight to b4 there, trying to attack the bishop there at d3, but I didn't do that. I take the challenge head on. So take the knight using the knight, and then pawn at f takes e5, and I can see it's a semi-open file for white there, but I don't think it's quite strong anyway. Knight goes to d5 there, avoiding the attack, and at the same time trying to attack the pawn at e3. Knight goes to c4, defending the pawn, and also opening the bishop defense there. Knight goes to c3, trying to attack the queen and annoy the hell out of it. Queen goes to c2, rook goes to c8 there. It's a mistake, and queen can simply take it, but then I move b5 there, and from here the knight is pinned, so queen has to move. Queen goes to e1, b takes c4, pawn takes. There is an advantage of one pawn by white here, and then bishop takes c4, that happened, and then bishop goes to h4, annoying the queen again. It's just a cat and mouse game, you know, sort of trying to play here around here and there. But the main idea is actually for me to attack the king side. So as you can see, there's an open diagonal. The main diagonal is actually, the white main diagonal is actually conquered by the bishop there, and I can sort of bring my queen there later on, or try to do some fanatic things or lunatic stuff that I can do. But you know, queen basically moved to e2, trying to avoid the dark square bishop. My queen goes to c7 with the idea of going to c6 afterwards, and then taking the pawn at g2. But of course, this pawn is actually protected by the queen there, so it's pretty strong. But I will try to find a way on, you know, wrecking this by probably moving the pawn at f. But from now, bishop goes to a3 first, trying to annoy the rook. The rook has to move. Rook goes to f7, and then bishop goes to d6 here. Of course, annoying the queen, but I don't want my queen to be there. Actually, I want my queen to be here, which is eyeing for the weak pawn at g2, but it's actually still protected by the queen, so I need to do some maneuver or some sacrifices to basically make a checkmate there. Rook at f goes to d1. I suppose the purpose is actually to push this pawn forward, which is the pawn at d4 to d5, and I simply here move f4. I don't know what else I can do to weaken, but f4 seems like a good move, but actually a blunder here. So instead, d5 is done. Queen goes to b6, trying to avoid. I should have taken this one, but if I've taken this one, then probably bishop goes there, and queen goes here, rook goes there, bishop takes that, this one takes this one. It's pretty weak. I don't want to do that. So that happened, and then d takes e6. Of course, bishop takes e6, and here I sort of move my f pawn to e6, e3 here. Not really sure the idea. Yeah, bishop goes to take f7, king takes f7. So I'm down by so many pawns basically here, so many pieces, and it seems like I'm losing the game. But because of the pressure that I put on king's side of white, it seems like I still can win the game, and I don't want to say it's over until it's over, you know. So rook goes to f1 there, creating a check, and I think this is the beginning of the blunder. So I should have moved my bishop there to make a check, and king can move there, and then I can do this, of course, and really an exchange of pieces there. But that didn't happen. Instead, I make a blunder as well, which is I move my king there, and actually it is a checkmate in 4. So the blunder that my opponent made was it did not realize that it can checkmate me in 4 moves. So it didn't know that actually it can utilize this situation to make a checkmate. So how to make a checkmate? It should have moved this here, and the king, this rook cannot take this because it is checkmate afterwards. So my opponent was not able to sacrifice its queen for a greater purpose, which is checkmate. It's very interesting checkmate if my opponent knows that this can be done, but it seems that Linson chess was not able to do that, and of course it's a beautiful sacrifice, but it was not done. Instead, so it moved the queen to g4. White moved the queen to g4, and from here I suppose I can move my pawn to e2 for a check, just to gain a material advantage. And then the king has to move to e1, to h1, sorry, and I simply take the rook at f1 and becomes queen, and of course rook takes back. And now I move my queen to c6. It is a challenge, I suppose, um, because what could happen here? Um, h3 was done. I'm not sure what is actually the meaning of that. And then queen goes to, sorry, it's h5 was moved there. It's a mistake according to the engine. And then queen goes to g6. Now I suppose I just move my queen to d7. With the idea of utilizing this pin pawn and trying to take this pawn and using the queen. So if I take this pawn, the highlighted one, with my queen later on, it will be a checkmate, because this pawn cannot take back because it's pinned by the bishop. So of course queen did the wrong move, which is taking h5, losing focus, and I simply move my queen to h3. It's a check, and this pawn simply cannot defend because it's pinned by the bishop at b7. So king goes to g1, and there's a checkmate there. So I suppose what I can learn from the game is do not make mistakes um, at the critical situation, and of course you can sacrifice your pieces to gain the ultimate goal of the game, which is checkmating your opponent instead of just winning materials. It takes some calculation, but of course if you can do it, it's beautiful. I suppose I enjoy playing chess with Linsonchess, and I'll see you later, I suppose. Thank you.